Roxie and the Hooligans by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. Chapter 10 Out of the Sky. Up in the seagrass, the Hooligans saw Uncle Dangerfoot too and began to cheer. Rat, who had caught Simon Surly by the throat, let go when he saw the helicopter and took off running through the woods. Down on the sand, Snake Eyes skidded to a stop at the water's edge and stared open-mouthed at the man in the jungle hat and the safari jacket, climbing down on a rope ladder toward the sea. When Uncle Dangerfoot reached the bottom rung of the ladder, he reached down and grabbed Roxie's hand. Up, up she climbed until she reached the opening in the belly of the helicopter, and there, helping to pull her in, was Norman from Public School Number 37. "Norman!" she cried. "Roxie," he said, "the Hooligans took my glasses, and I couldn't see what was happening to you." But the biggest surprise was yet to come, for when the pilot turned around to welcome her aboard, Roxie saw that it was Lord Thistlebottom himself, all the way from London. "When your mother told me that you were missing," Uncle Dangerfoot explained, climbing back into the helicopter, "I called Lord Thistlebottom, and in less than an hour he was on his way." "And then," said Lord Thistlebottom, "your friend Norman here, a fine lad indeed, remembered a terrible noise about the time you disappeared from the playground." "So we put two and two together," said Roxie's uncle. "Four, as it were," said Lord Thistlebottom. "And when the search plane spotted the triangle made of rocks," said Uncle Dangerfoot, "the pilot radioed back to us, and we knew it had to be someone who had read my book," Lord Thistlebottom finished. "So out we came into this helicopter, and we brought Norman along. He said you had disappeared in the company of hooligans." The helicopter was descending now over the beach, and sand flew every which way. "Hooligans, yes, but right now they're in danger," Roxie said. "There are two bank robbers hiding out there, Uncle Dangerfoot, and they said that they would slit the throat of anyone they found on the island." "By Jove, this is a jolly adventure!" cried Lord Thistlebottom, adjusting his cravat, and Uncle Dangerfoot reached for his slender cane, which could in an instant become a harpoon, a gun, an umbrella, or a walking stick, depending on the circumstances and the weather. "We'll just see about that, won't we, Lord Thistlebottom?" he said. "We'll give them a run for their money, or should I say the bank's money?" cried Lord Thistlebottom, and he turned to his instrument and radioed the police. "Now where are the hooligans Norman was telling us about?" asked Uncle Dangerfoot, opening the door of the helicopter and stepping out onto the sand. "There they are! Here they come!" said Roxie, as Helvetia and Simon and Freddie and Smoky Joe, their eyes wide with wonder, dashed across the beach. One after the other, they climbed into the helicopter as Uncle Dangerfoot counted them off with a light whack on their bottoms with his cane. "What about them?" Helvetia said, pointing to Rat and Snake Eyes, who had pulled a motor boat out of its hiding place and were trying to make their escape. "A patrol boat is on its way," said Lord Thistlebottom, "and those thieves think they can outrace it. We'll see about that." The helicopter flew on ahead of the speeding boat and began to come closer and closer to the water. The wind it created stirred up the waves, and the boat tossed this way and that. Desperately, the robbers turned their boat around and went steering off in the direction they had come, only to see the patrol boat coming towards them, with the police ahead of them, the helicopter behind, land on one side of them and the wide ocean on the other. Rat and Snake Eyes jumped overboard and tried to swim away, but the jig was up, and the officers pulled them into the police boat. Roxie said she was sure that if the policemen searched the island, they would find the bank's money hidden somewhere. "A fine day, fine indeed," said Uncle Dangerfoot, beaming proudly at his niece. "A jolly good adventure, that," Lord Thistlebottom added with a chuckle. "Jolly good show, Roxie Warbler." Back over the ocean they went, skimming over waves and fishing boats, and then, at last, over land. Villages and towns sped below, and Roxie held her breath for fear the helicopter would touch the treetops. Over hasty pudding they flew, over hamburger on bun, then Swiss on rye, till at last she recognized the church steeple of Chin in hand, and the helicopter began to descend. There was public school number 37, there was the playground, and there was the bright blue dumpster waiting for its next load to take to the sea. And finally, there they were, getting a grand welcome from Miss Crumbly and all the other children, cheering and waving a banner that said, "Welcome back." The hooligans stared, for no one had ever welcomed them anywhere. They could not believe that the ginger snaps and lemonade were really for them, and even though they had not had a decent meal in 3 days, they offered the first platter to Roxie and Norman before they took any for themselves. But the best welcome was the one Roxie got when she returned home. "There she is!" her mother cried when Roxie came up the walk. Her parents hugged her so hard she could scarcely breathe. That evening, Roxie Warbler, freshly bathed and combed and wearing her patent leather shoes and her best blue dress, sat with her feet on a footstool in the family parlor, a teacup in one hand, a crumpet in the other, and told Uncle Dangerfoot and Lord Thistlebottom, as well as her parents, all that had happened since she had been dumped in the sea. Uncle Dangerfoot listened intently, occasionally tapping his long slender cane on the floor. Lord Thistlebottom reached for another crumpet, and smiled with delight as Roxie told of the trench, the rock brigade, and the rabbit noises she had learned from his book. Mrs. Warbler sat to one side, holding a plate of crumpets, should Roxie want more, and her dad sat on the other side, ready to go for the sugar if Roxie wanted another lump. "Oh, it was harrowing, let me tell you," said the girl with the remarkable, magnificent, wonderful round pink sugar bowl handle ears. "It was uncharted territory there on the island, and our mouths had long since gone dry. But you will be glad to know, Uncle Dangerfoot, that I remembered all you had taught me." And seated across the room was the little band of hooligans, all with teacups balanced on their laps, listening politely. They were known from then on as Roxie Warblers, for they had only good things to say about her, Roxie, the girl who did not panic, not one little bit. The end.